In this session, we are going to discuss about the transistor biasing. In this session, we will study why transistor is required to give proper biasing. We will be studying three types of biasing in this session, that is fixed biasing, ammeter biasing and voltage divider biasing. We will also compare these three biasing and we'll also discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of the different biasing. And lastly, we will do some numericals related to this biasing. So let us start with the transistor biasing. Transistor biasing. We know that major application of transistor is amplification. Amplification means to increase the amplitude or strength of a signal to desired level. While amplification, it should be ensured that profile or shape of the signal should remain intact. That is, process of amplification should be faithful. We know that for amplification, transistor has to be biased in active region. That is, emitter base junction JE should be forward biased and collector base junction JC should be reversed biased. To fulfill the above stated conditions, resistors and external DC voltage sources of correct polarity and amplitude has to be connected to the transistors. This is known as biasing. Biasing establishes a fixed level of DC collector current IC and collector voltage VCE in the transistor. The circuit used for getting the desired and proper operating points are known as biasing circuits. Now come to operating point or quiescent point. In amplifier circuits, transistors are biased into conducting state with fixed levels of collector current IC, base current IB and emitter current IE and constant terminal voltages. The levels of collector current IC and collector to emitter voltage VCE define the transistor DC operating point. Ideally, the levels of IC and VCE in a bias circuit remains fixed so that operating point is also known as quiescent point or Q point. For faithful amplification of an input signal, this point, Q point, should be fixed, but in practical circuits it is affected by the temperature changes. So the amplifier circuits must be designed to provide a degree of temperature stability so that temperature changes result in minimum changes in operating point. Transistor biasing. In amplifier circuits, transistors are biased into conducting state with fixed layer of collector current IC, base current IB and emitter current IE and constant terminal voltages. The levels of collector current IC and collector to emitter voltage VCE define the transistor DC operating point. Ideally, the levels of IC and VCE in a bias circuit remains fixed, so the operating point is also known as quiescent point or Q point. For faithful amplification of an input signal, this point should be fixed, but in practical circuit it is affected by the temperature changes, so the amplifier circuits must be designed to provide a degree of temperature stability so that operating point can be fixed. Operating point of the amplifier circuit must be set within the maximum rating of the transistor. The maximum rating are indicated in the above characteristics by a horizontal line for maximum collector current and a vertical line at maximum collector to emitter voltage VCE. Now come to DC load line. DC load line. The common emitter bias transistor circuit is shown in the figure. The DC load line for the circuit is drawn on the transistor characteristics. Now apply KVL in the output section, that is collector emitter circuits, that is in this output portion. If we apply the KVL, we get VCC will be equal to ICRC plus VCE. That is, we have got VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. So we have got VCE as VCC minus ICRC. Now we have two equations. VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. So we have got VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC. In this equation, if we set VCE equal to 0, so we get IC is equal to VCC upon RC. Talking about this point A, here we see VCE is equal to 0, so we have got IC is equal to VCC upon RC. But when IC equal to 0, means in this point IC equal to 0, we have got VCE is equal to VCC. This is the cutoff point B. So A will be the saturation point A, is maximum, getting the maximum collector current, and here we got VCE which is equal to VCC. This will be the cutoff point. Now VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. So we have got IC from this equation as IC will be equal to minus VCC upon RC plus VCC upon RC. This equation is known as load line. I'm talking about this equation. This equation is drawn in the figure. So we have got DC load line. Slope of this line is very clear, minus 1 by RC. If we compare this equation with y equal to mx plus c, so we will be getting slope as minus 1 by RC. Here we see that slope depends on the resistance RC, which is the DC load. That is why this line is called as DC load line. Now come to selection of quiescent point or operating point. Selection of Q point. Active region. For amplifier, the operating point is selected in the middle of the active region, means somewhere in the middle of the active region. That is midway along the DC load line. This is AB is the DC load line, so it should be selected somewhere in midway for faithful amplification of the input signal. When a signal is applied to a biased transistor, base current IB varies according to the instantaneous amplitude of the signal. This causes collector current IC to vary and consequently produces variations in VCE as shown in the figure. I am talking about this figure. IB varies and so IC is varying, and when the fluctuations of IC, we are getting the fluctuation in the output voltage, that is VCE. Saturation and cutoff region. The selection of the operating point is done for the amplification for which the device is to be used. A and B are the operating points on the saturation and cutoff region respectively. If we select operating point to be at A, it is in saturation region, and at B it is cutoff, and in the middle it will be in active region. Transistor is biased at these points to be used as a switch, because at saturation point, that is A, the current will be maximum, it means it will be in on condition, and at B in cutoff current will be 0, so it will be in switching condition. Now the same signal is applied to a biased transistor whose quiescent point is near saturation or cutoff region. Earlier it was in the middle region, but now we will discuss about the case where the operating point is somewhere at this point, at its saturation point, or at the cutoff point. Then either the negative half cycle or the positive half cycle of the output voltage is clipped as shown in the figure, hence output will be distorted. If If operating point is set over here, then after the fluctuation of the current, after this it will be clipped. And if it is in this condition, then we also see that portion of the full waveform is clipped. So for faithful amplification, the operating point must lie in the middle of the active region. Now come to the biasing circuits. These are the transistor biasing circuits that we are going to discuss. First one is the fixed bias circuit, then ammeter bias circuit, then voltage divider bias circuit. First we'll talk about the fixed biasing circuit. So now come to fixed biasing circuit. This is the circuit for fixed biasing. The simplest transistor biasing circuit is fixed bias circuit as shown in the figure. The current IB remains fixed at a particular level as it is determined by the supply voltage VCC and the base resistor RB, which are fixed quantities. Single voltage supply VCC provide proper bias to both the ammeter and collector junction. Now input section, that is the base circuit. Talking about this circuit, this portion. On applying KVL in the input circuit, that is the base circuit, we have got VCC is equal to IBRB plus VBE. So VCC equal to IBRB plus VBE. With the help of that, we can get input current as IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB. Current IB remains fixed at a particular level as is determined by the supply voltage VCC, because VBE is fixed, and base resistor RB which are also fixed quantities. That is why it is called as fixed bias circuit. Now calculation of IE. We know that IE is equal to 1 plus beta times IB. So once we have calculated IB, so with the help of this equation we can calculate IE. Now we have to calculate collector current IC, but we know that IC equal to beta DC into IB in case of common emitter configuration. It is important to note that the base current IB is controlled by the value of base resistor RB, and the collector current IC is related to IB by a constant beta DC. So magnitude of IC is not a function of the resistor RC. Changing RC to any level will not affect the level of IB, and which in turn IC, as long as transistor remain in the active region of the device. Now come to the output section of the fixed bias circuit. Output section means we are talking about this section. On applying the KVL in the output circuit, we get VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. So VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. So we have got VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC. Now what are the advantages of the fixed biasing circuits? Advantages of fixed biasing is that this is a very simple circuit which uses very few components. The operating point can be fixed anywhere in the active region of the characteristic by simply changing the value of the base resistor RB. Thus it provides maximum flexibility in the design. Now come to the disadvantages of fixed biasing. So disadvantages of fixed biasing: the circuit does not provide any check on the collector current, which increases with the rise in temperature. That is, temperature stability is not provided by this circuit. So operating point is not fixed, and we know that IC is equal to beta DC IB plus ICEO. Here we see that IC depends on beta DC because IB is fixed, but beta DC changes from transistor to transistor, which in turn shifts the operating point. Thus we see that stabilization of operating point is poor. Now let us solve some numericals on fixed biasing circuits. For the circuit shown below, find ICQ and VCEQ. Q for question point. Assume silicon transistor and beta DC is equal to 50. We know that on applying the KVL in the input circuit, that is base circuit, we get VCC is equal to IBRB plus VBE. So we have got IB as VCC minus VBE upon RB. So putting the value of VCC, VBE and RB, we have calculated IB as 10 minus 0.7 upon 220 kilo ohm. So we get IB as 42.27 micro ampere. Now we have to calculate IC, and we know that IC equal to beta DC times IB. IB is calculated. So IC is equal to, beta is given as 50 into 42.27 micro ampere. So we have got IC as 2.1135 milliampere. Now we have to calculate VCE. So on applying the KVL on the output section, we get VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. So VCE will be equal to VCC minus ICRC. So VCE is equal to 10 volt minus 2.1135 milliampere into 1.2 kilo ohm. This milli and this kilo will be cancelled out with each other. So we will be getting the VCE as 7.46 volt. Let us take one more example. For the below circuit, we have to find ICQ and VCEQ. Here important thing is that we can directly use this formula. If you remember this formula, then we can use directly formula. But if we do not remember, then we can always go for the input and output section and apply KVL. So we have got IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB. Putting the value of VCC 18 minus 0.7 volt upon 470 kilo ohm, we have got IB as 36.81 micro ampere. Now we have to calculate IC, and IC is equal to beta DC times IB. So IC is equal to 100 into 36.81 micro ampere. So we have got IC is equal to 3.68 milliampere. Now we have to calculate VCE. If we remember the formula, we can directly apply this formula. Otherwise, go for KVL and find out VC as VCC minus IC into RC. Putting the values of VCC, IC and RC, we get VCE is equal to 18 volt minus 3.68 milliampere into 2.2 kilo ohm. And after solving, we get VCE as 9.90 volt. Now come to the second biasing, that is the emitter biasing. In this figure we see that emitter biasing circuit is obtained by the addition of emitter resistor in a fixed bias circuit. In fixed bias circuit, there were no RE resistance. It was the emitter terminal that was directly connected to the ground. But if we apply some emitter resistance in this terminal, so this will be the emitter biasing circuit. The emitter resistor improves the stability over that of the fixed bias circuit. Now we will be studying its input section. So applying the KVL in its input section, we have got VCC will be equal to IBRB plus VBE and plus IERE. So VCC is equal to IBRB plus VBE plus IE into RE. But we know that IE equal to 1 plus beta times IB. Putting this value of IE into this equation, then equation VCC will be equal to IBRB plus VBE plus 1 plus beta DC RE into IB. Now IBRB plus VBE plus 1 plus beta DC IBRE is equal to VCC. We get IBRB plus 1 plus beta DC IB into RE is equal to VCC minus VBE taking IB as common, we get RB plus 1 plus beta DC times RE is equal to VCC minus VBE. So IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB plus 1 plus beta DC times RE. Now we have got IB that we have to find. Now we have to find the collector current IC. We know that IC equal to beta DC times IB. So with the help of this equation we can find IC, and calculation of IE is, we know that IE equal to 1 plus beta DC times IB. Now come to the output section. On applying the KVL on the output section, I mean in this section, VCC will be equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE. So we get VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE. With the help of this equation we can find VCE as VCC minus ICRC minus IERE. Advantages of the emitter biasing circuits. The addition of emitter resistance provides better stabilization. Disadvantages of emitter biasing. What are the disadvantages? The emitter resistance provides negative feedback to the circuit and thus reduces the gain of the circuit. Now numericals on emitter biasing. For the following circuit we have to find IC and VCE. Beta DC is given as 100 and transistor is given as silicon transistor. We know that for the emitter biasing circuit, here we can use direct formula, or if we have forgotten then you can always apply KVL to the input side to get the base current IB. Here I am using the direct formula. IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB plus 1 plus beta times DC times RE. Putting the values of VCC, VBE, RB and beta DC and RE, we get IB is equal to 15 minus 0.7 volt, 330 kilo ohm plus 1 plus 100 kilo ohm, and after solving we have got IB as 33.18 micro ampere. We have calculated the input current IB. So IC is equal to beta DC times IB. Beta is equals to 100. IB is calculated as 33.18 microampere. Putting these two values, we have got IC as 3.318 milliampere. And IE is equal to 1 plus beta times DC, 1 plus beta DC times IB. So IE is equal to 1 plus 100 into 33.18 microampere. So we get IE as 3.351 milliampere. Now we have to calculate VCE. We can apply KVL on the output section. So VCC will be equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE, and with the help of this equation we can find VCE as VCC minus ICRC minus IERE. Putting the values, we get VCE is equal to 15 volt minus 3.318 milliampere into 2 kilo ohm minus 3.351 milliampere into 1 kilo ohm. After calculation we have got VCE as 5 volt. Let us take one more example. In this figure, beta DC is equal to 50. For input section we have to calculate IB. So the direct formula of IB, we are using IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB plus 1 plus beta DC times RE. Putting the value of VCC, VBE, RB, beta DC and RE in this equation, we have got IB is equal to 20 minus 0.7 upon 430 kilo ohm plus 1 plus 50 into 1 kilo ohm. So we have got IB is equal to 19.3 volt upon 430 kilo ohm plus 51 kilo ohm. So we have got IB as 40.1 microampere. Now we have to calculate the current IC. Now we have to calculate current IC. We know that IC equal to beta DC times IB. IC is equal to 50 into 40.1 micro ampere. That is, we have got IC is equal to 2.01 milliampere. IE can also be calculated using this formula, that is IE is equal to 1 plus beta DC times IB. So we have got IE is equal to 1 plus 50 into 40.1 microampere. That is, after solving we have got IE is equal to 2.04 milliampere. Now we have to calculate the VCE. To calculate VCE, we have to apply KVL in the output section. That is, VCC will be equal to IC into RC plus VCE plus IE into RE. So using this equation we can get VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC minus IERE. Putting the value of VCC as 20, RC as 2 kilo ohm, RE as 1 kilo ohm, we have got VCE is equal to 20 volt minus 2.01 milliampere value of IC, and RC, which is given as 2 kilo ohm, minus IE, we have calculated 2.04 milliampere, into RE, that is 1 kilo ohm. And after solving we have got VCE as 13.96 volt. Now come to the voltage divider biasing. The voltage divider bias circuit provides base voltage from the supply VCC through resistor R1 R2 voltage divider network. Means base voltage is being provided by the VCC with the help of R1 and R2. Voltage drop across R2 forward biases the base emitter junction. Voltage drop across this R2 will forward bias the base emitter junction. It is also known as self bias circuit. Voltage divider biasing circuit is the most widely used circuit. In this bias, operating point is almost independent of beta DC. In the fixed bias and emitter bias configuration, we have seen that the collector current ICQ and collector to emitter voltage VCE depends on the values of current gain beta DC. The value of beta DC depends on the temperature, and also value of beta DC changes as a transistor is replaced by another one. The sensitivity to changes in beta DC of voltage divider circuit is quite small. It provides the best stability of the operating point. Now let us analyze the voltage divider circuit to find the currents. The circuit can better be analyzed by taking its Thevenin's equivalent to the input side. Means inside we will be applying the Thevenin's theorem to simplify the circuit so that analysis can be made simple. So where applying the Thevenin theorem, so we will be getting, after applying the Thevenin theorem, we will be getting this circuit. So input section is replaced by a voltage source and a equivalent resistor, Thevenin resistor, that is RTH, and the voltage VTH, where RTH will be equal to R1 parallel R2. That is, RTH will be equal to R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. VTH will be equal to VCC into R2 upon R1 plus R2. Means the supply voltage VCC, it means VTH will be equal to the voltage drop across R2 provided by the supply VCC. So now we have got the Thevenin equivalent of the voltage divider circuit, where RTH is given by the R1 R2 by R1 plus R2, and VTH is given by VCC into R2 by R1 plus R2. Now we will apply KVL to the input section to get input current IB. So applying KVL to the input section, we get VTH will be equal to IBRB plus VBE and plus this drop IERE. So applying KVL in the input section, we get VTH is equal to IB into RTH plus VBE plus IE into RE. Putting the value of IE as 1 plus beta times IB in this circuit, we get VTH is equal to IBRTH plus 1 plus beta DC times IBRE plus VBE. That is, we have got IBRTH plus 1 plus beta DC times IBRE is equal to VTH minus VBE. So we have got IB is equal to VTH minus VBE upon RTH plus 1 plus beta DC times RE. This is very important relationship. Now we have to calculate the current IC. We know that IC equal to beta DC times IB. IB we have already calculated. So IC is given as beta DC times IB, and we can also calculate IE as 1 plus beta DC times IB. Now we have to calculate VCE. So we have to apply KVL in the output section, in this section. So we will be getting VCC will be equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE. So on applying KVL in the output circuit, we get VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE. And we have got VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC minus IERE. Now what are the advantages of voltage divider biasing? Advantage of voltage divider biasing. Voltage divider bias circuit provides excellent stabilization against the variation in temperature and current gain beta. That is why this biasing circuit is most widely used. Now come to the disadvantages of voltage divider biasing. The negative feedback introduced by existence of RE reduces the gain. However, this problem can be resolved by using capacitor CE in parallel with RE. This capacitor CE acts as short circuit for AC inputs and makes AC feedback equal to 0. Now numericals on voltage divider biasing. For the following circuit, we have to find ICQ and VCQ, assuming beta DC is equal to 100 and silicon transistor. We know that for voltage divider circuit, IB is equal to VTH minus VBE upon RTH plus 1 plus beta DC times RE, and RTH is equal to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2, and VTH is equal to VCC times R2 by R1 plus R2. So RTH will be calculated as 39 into 3.9 upon 39 plus 3.9. It will be calculated as 3.55 kilo ohm, and VTH will be equal to 18 into 3.9 upon 39 plus 3.9, that is 1.64 volt. So now we can calculate IB. IB is equal to VTH minus VBE upon RTH 1 plus beta DC RE. Putting the value of VTH, VBE, RTH, beta DC and RE. RE is given, IB is equal to VTH 1.64 that we have already calculated. VB will be equals to 0.7. RTH is 3.5 volt. Beta DC is 100. And RE is equal to 1.5 kilo ohm. So putting these values, we have got IB equal to 1.64 minus 0.7 upon 3.55 plus 101 into 1.5. So IB is equal to 6.06 micro ampere. Now we have to calculate IC, and we know that IC is equal to beta DC into IB. Putting the value of beta DC as 100, IB as 6.06 microampere, we have got IC is equal to 100 into 6.06 microampere. So we have got IC as 0.606 milliampere. Now we have to calculate VCE. We know that on applying the KVL, we know that IE is equal to 1 plus beta DC times IB. So IE will be equal to 1 plus 100 into 6.06 microampere value of IB. So IE is equal to 0.612 milliampere. Now applying KVL in the output section, we get VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE. With the help of that equation, we have got VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC minus IERE. So putting the value of the variables, we got VCE is equal to 18 volt minus 0.606 milliampere into 2.2 kilo ohm minus 0.612 milliampere and RE as 1.5 kilo ohm. We have got VCE as 5.71 volt. Let us take one more example. We have to calculate IC and VCE for this circuit. We have to assume beta DC as 100. We know that for voltage water biasing circuit, we can directly use this formula. IB is equal to VTH minus VBE upon RTH plus 1 plus beta DC times RE. RTH is equal to R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. VTH is equal to VCC into R2 upon R1 plus R2. Using these formulas, we have got RTH as 10 into 5 upon 10 plus 5. So that we have got RTH as 3.33 kilo ohm. And VTH is equal to 10 into 5 upon 10 plus 5, that is 3.33 volt. Now we can calculate IB. IB is equal to VTH minus VBE upon RTH 1 plus beta DC times RE. Putting the value of VTH, VBE, RTH, RE and beta DC, we have got IB is equal to 3.33 minus 0.7 upon 3.33 plus 1 plus 100 into 0.5, and after calculation we have got IB is equal to 48.86 microampere. We can also calculate IC with the help of beta DC into IB. So we have got IC is equal to 100 into 48.86 microampere. So we have got IC as 4.886 milliampere. Now we have to calculate VCE. We know that IE is equal to 1 plus beta DC into IB. So we have got IE as 1 plus 100 into 48.86 microampere. After solution, after calculation, we have got IE as 4.935 milliampere. Now applying KVL in the output section, we have got VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE. So we have got VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC minus IERE. Putting the values of VCC, ICRC, IERE, we have got VCE is equal to 10 minus 4.886 milliampere into 1 kilo ohm minus 4.935 milliampere into 0.5 kilo ohm. After solving, we have got VCE as 2.6465 volt.